always read a book and then something happens, or I get to like 75% all of a sudden I don't really want to read it anymore. Anyways, we're just going to talk about all the books that I'm currently reading, why I perhaps stop reading them, if I'm going to continue reading them, which for most of these I will, and just talk about books. That's the entire premise of today's video. I haven't filmed a video for YouTube in a very long time and I feel a little weird, but it's gonna be fine. Alright, the first book that I want to talk about, that I'm about to finish actually, as you can see, this is the bookmark. I'm about to finish this book. This is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I wanted to read this book because of the new movie coming out. I wanted to read it before I would watch the movie. And then actually things happened and I wasn't even supposed to watch it, but then I did. I wish I didn't. I wish I didn't. It was so bad. If you have loved the movie, great, good for you. I did not like the movie at all. It was just really bad. Apart from the fact that they've turned a book about revenge, unfulfilled love that turns to rage, abuse. There's no romance in this book, really. And they took all of that and they've turned it to dark romance movie, which I'm very passionate about this. I hate dark romance as a genre. This is unpopular opinion. I know how much the genre is popular on TikTok, let's say, right, for books. I hate it with every fiber of my being. You could not pay me to read a dark romance book. Yeah, I truly despise the genre. So the fact that they've oversimplified the story, they added elements that were just not even, there was no point. I'm all for maybe interpreting the story differently, but they didn't even try. Gosh, it was so bad. And I knew that I'm probably going to dislike it when I heard people talking about it, right? Like talking about some of the scenes that are in there. But it was so bad. It was just really bad. The book, on the other hand, years ago, and I never got around to the second one until like last year. And then I started reading it, and I stopped. Why? I know this is a well-loved book series, and originally I got it because part of the storyline takes place in Prague and Utrecht, so that's why I was interested in it. But I'm not a fan of angel and demon stories, and all these characters in this are either angels or demons. In the stories, they're technically named seraphim or seraphs and chimeras, but it's the same thing. They're like angels and demons. And I can't get into it, and the only reason why I'm reading it still is because I want to donate it or sell it and make some space. Gosh, I sound like such a hater in this video. So yeah, I'm halfway through, and I stopped reading it again a couple months ago. I always get into the story and then I pick up a different book and I stop reading this one. But a lot of people like it. It's mainly about war, and that's also another theme that I just don't necessarily like in books. So it's combining all the tropes and things that I don't like, which is why I personally cannot enjoy the story as much. But you could. This is YA fantasy. It was written years ago. When did this book was published? Okay, this one 2012. it that way. And they, very early on page 54, they switch roles, and that was exactly the moment where I've stopped reading, because I thought that it's a bit, I don't know, weird, but I will continue with this book, I promise, I promise. Next book. This is The Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue by B.E. Schwab, that I started reading a very long time ago, like years ago at this point, probably. Why did I stop reading it? I don't remember. I got to page 60. How is it I always get to page 60 and then I stop reading? There seems to be a bit of a pattern here. This is about a girl that wishes for her life to be different. It's been years since I've started reading it. And she accidentally calls on a demon that makes her wish come true. But accidentally, well, for him it was on purpose, but for Addie it was accidental. He makes her was the event of the first book. This is the second book, and I really didn't like what happened in the first book, but I already got the second book, and I got to page 196. Okay, I've read more, but I'm not a fan of the story in general and what is happening and how her life progresses, and also I will avoid spoilers, but there's something that paints the character from the original first book in a really bad light, and that's why I don't really like the story, but I'm planning on finishing it at some point. I always read a little. The story's funny, it's okay, it's just that I don't like what is happening in the book. That's why I stopped reading it. Okay, next. Oh, we're almost done. We're almost done. This is... What was the original? Prodigy by Murillo, and this came out in 2013. This is the second book in the series. I've read Legend years ago and I never continued. This came out during the Hunger Games phase, when just all these YA dystopian stories were being published, but nothing could ever come close to how brilliant that the Hunger Games were. And I think this, I like the first book, but the second book is just, I don't know, not a lot of things are happening, and that's why I stopped reading it. And this one, I actually don't know if I will continue or not, because I've started this years ago, and I don't even remember what happened in the first book, or in the first 30 pages of the second book, so... But I do want to read it so that I can sell it or donate it. Because I need to make my collection of books a little smaller. Alright. The last two books hurt my soul. The first one is Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. This is the fourth book in the series, the Stormlight Archive, and I love that series so much. So why did I stop reading it? First of all, I got a little intimidated. This book has 1,200 pages, but also I read the first three books in a very different time of my life, where just not a lot of things were happening, and I wasn't that busy. And I do want to continue it. I actually also bought the audiobook because there was a sale on Audible, and I got it for like $2 or something. I used some credits that I got at a discounted price, so that's how I got it. I also got audiobook of the fifth book, but every time I start this book it reminds me of the time when I was reading the first three books. So I love the story, there's nothing wrong with the story, the problem is me. But I will continue it, and I thought that I will listen to the audiobook at the same time so that I could get fully immersed in it. That's the plan. I will probably continue this during summer maybe, because I always read high fantasy during summer. During winter I read romance, maybe literary fiction stuff. watching, and then I'll see you in